Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with chef, author, and just one of the best food experts on TV, Aarón Sánchez. Aarón, you're returning to MasterChef Junior on Fox for season 8. It premieres Thursday, March 17th, and the judges are once again you and Gordon Ramsay, and Daphne Oz is joining this season. What can we look forward to, and what do you love most about this series in particular, working with these young chefs?
Oh, there's so much. First of all, I have an 11-year-old, so I'm actually living their age group, every day. So the idea of the young ones coming in there and showing such an interest for food at such an early age, we're talking about kids from 8 to 12 years old who have already developed a really great repertoire and skill set that we find, amazing and baffling at times, because I think their vocabulary and their interest in food is genuine. I don't think it's something that's fleeting, which I think is really awesome to see. And the fact that we have like super mom Daphne Oz showing up, who's pregnant during the filming, who is this amazing mom and brings this beautiful background of her own sort of point of view with food. I just thought it just was such a beautiful addition. And that's really why this season in particular, I think with Daphne's addition has made it so unique. And it's kind of like softened up a little bit of the boy macho dad stuff, which is neat. And I just really dig that.
And you've had a working relationship with Gordon for quite a while. How did that begin? When did you guys meet, and was he what you expected? Because we see him as sort of this, ticking time bomb on TV. What was your introduction to Gordon originally?
Well, I mean, of course, I've known him through the industry and through, his reputation speaks volumes, obviously. But, I think when they were going through, I want to say season 8, around there, they wanted to have a new voice as far as their judging panel, and kind of came in and did a couple of guest appearances. And I think we had a really a beautiful sort of chemistry, in the sense that the way the food that I do and my particular, sort of journey and path is so different from his. I thought it was a nice contrasting, sort of element to the dynamic between Joe, him, and then of course me coming in. So I'm fascinated with him. I think he's one of the most dynamic people I've ever met in my life. Extremely hardworking, has such a passion and drive for what he does, and it's evident. And there's very few chefs, if any, that can back it up in the restaurant world, and then also in their TV world, and he does that. So I definitely have an admiration and frankly look up to him in a lot of ways. So.
And you've worked on a lot of cooking competitions. You've been a judge. You've been a competitor. What's the biggest difference for you when you're working in a kitchen with adults versus a bunch of kids? I mean, are you concerned for them? There's gas stoves and knives everywhere. What's the biggest challenge with a group of kids?
Yeah, well, you just said it. We are just amazed and dumbfounded at the fact that they don't injure themselves as much as the adults, frankly, because I think children have that beautiful innocence and that understanding of, when something's not good and not bad, and not trying to be too brave necessarily. So that's a really big differentiating point. I mean, for me, for the children, for me, it's really rewarding. Like I said, Gordon's kids are grown, and now he has the little one. He has little Oscar, and Joe's kids are grown. So, and then Daphne has sort of young ones as well. So for me personally, I have a really close connection to their age group and their development and all that part. So yeah, it's exciting for me to see them get away from the iPads, get away from the video games, focus on something that has a real sort of a real presence and a real sort of value in their lives. Everyone loves food. It's gonna be something that it's a language we all speak, sort of thing. And it's like having a soccer ball. If you play soccer, you can make a friend anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just one of those things.
And we love our predictions over here at Gold Derby. We predict award shows, we predict reality TV competitions like this one. How easy is it for you to spot someone, like from the initial time you see them until the end? At what point in your mind do you think, okay, this kid has what it takes to go all the way?
Well, I mean, you think about it, they're all competing for that valuable white apron. We started with 16 juniors, and they have an unbelievable sort of drive to get the apron initially. And then we all kind of do our little sort of bets in the beginning of who we think is going to be like the final three or the final five. And we start whittling it down. And like we always say on MasterChef, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And big part of the whole riddle with MasterChef is figuring out how to be a good student and taking cues. Because, the kids that end up doing that go far in the competition. So, and for me, I'm very lucky because I don't have to tell the kids to go home because I'm like the biggest pudding pop. I cry at every moment. So don't let the tattoos and all of that sort of tough man Mexican stuff fool you. I'm like the first dude to cry. So Gordon does that little bit of the business and says, sorry, the future is bright kind of thing.
And I know you started your culinary journey at a early age. If you had this opportunity when you were 8 to 13, is this something you would have jumped at, or would you have been too shy for it, or what are your thoughts on how you would have done as a kid?
That's a great question. I don't know if I would have excelled in it, to be honest. I knew that at that time I was very incorrigible, and I was, not a very good listener, to be very honest. I don't know if I would have taken direction well, to be honest. As I got in my teenage years, I was forced to listen to people, and thankfully, my mentors and people that really sort of shifted my behavior came through the kitchen. But I don't know if that age I would have been good, to be very honest. But
what was that initial spark for you as a kid? I mean, was it a certain food or a person that made you kind of say, wow?
No, I just think more for me, it was really about, first of all, just the exposure to food at an early age through my mom and my grandmother, and having them being, the doyens and the matriarchal badass, home cooks. And so the initial spark was there, obviously. And then my mom was a caterer and a social worker, and, and then we moved to New York, and we were afforded a beautiful life through food, after some time. So I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew that I wanted them. I knew that making people happy and putting other people's needs before mine was important. And food was the way to do that. So, in my early teenage years, that's kind of where I was like, I can do this. And I wasn't afraid of work. I wasn't afraid of long hours and all that kind of stuff. So.
And just one really quick final question. I'm always curious to hear, because we see these cooking competitions and you get thrown different things at you. What is your biggest nightmare for an ingredient, a food theme? If they said cook it and you say, damn it, what would it be?
Well, I would love to take on Gordon, to be honest.
That would be great.
I think I could kick his ass, to be very honest. So I'm saying it now. And he's such a competitive guy, and I know he would relish the opportunity. So hopefully down the road, we'll be able to do that and just have fun with it. But as far as ingredients, I think, or a particular challenge that would throw me off, trying to think, what would be something that would really kind of, I don't know, something that's far from my reach, like, perhaps something Japanese or something that has tons of subtlety as far as flavor. I know I can nail it, but my style is like seasoning and and acidity and chilies and, and all that good stuff. And that's what I'm good at. And the idea of being able to sort of take like a very sort of subtle technique, and sort of me be personally happy with it, I wouldn't maybe think that had a pop of flavor or whatever. So, so that would be something that would kind of throw me off a little bit.
All right. Well, Aarón Sánchez, we look forward to season 8 of MasterChef Junior. Hopefully in the near future, we get to see you throw down in the kitchen with Gordon Ramsay and see who takes that contest. But for everyone watching, March 17th, MasterChef Junior on Fox. And Aarón, thanks again for chatting with Gold Derby today. I
appreciate you, Mr. Denton. Thank you. And I'm a big fan of what y'all do. Continued success. And thank you all. Make sure you tune in March 17th, St. Patty's Day, for this new beautiful season 8 of MasterChef Junior. So we look forward to it. Thank y'all.